Well, good evening, friends and family. It is October 16th at about 7 p.m. It has been a challenge ever since I found out about this new law that came up starting up in May about this real ID malarkey. Period. Anyway, I want to talk to people who either have adopted a child and that child is not yet an adult. Make sure that whatever state you are in, that your adoption papers, the new birth certificate, has your California seal on it. Because if it does not, at least in California, your adoption records are not legal. And if you are an adult and you have been adopted and you do not have your birth certificate yet, whether it was an open adoption or a closed adoption, please make sure that you get your adoption records settled before your adoptive parents and or biological parents have passed on, because without this California new law, I don't know if it's only California or all of the United States, but without a real ID, you cannot enter a federal building, the Social Security Office, the Housing Authority, for me, in-home support services, or any other federal building. You cannot go into a courthouse without a real ID. So, I don't know what to do. I went today to the DMV trying to get a real ID. I thought, well, if I go and get my regular ID renewed, that would work. And she said, nope, you have to have either your birth certificate and or your adoption records. So the other thing that she suggested, the woman at the DMV, was to go and apply for a passport, because that goes under federal security. And they should be able to dig up either my birth certificate from my original biological mother or the legal adoption records, if indeed it was legal. I have already called the city hall where I was born, and I called the city hall where the adoption took place. Nobody has records of my birth certificate, and nobody has records of my adoption. And the only paperwork that I have for my adoption does not have the California seal on it, so the DMV will not recognize it to get a real ID. So that being said, I really feel like this law, the mandatory real ID, especially for people who are not planning to travel, I think it's stupid. And I hope it gets overturned, because this is a real hindrance for people who have been supposedly adopted, and now all parties, my biological father, my biological mother, thankfully I knew her, so I know her full name and date of birth, and my stepmother, they're all passed away. So I can't even go to them and say, help me, because they're all passed away. So I feel like I'm really stuck. And so if any of you listening to this knows anything about family law, maybe you work for an adoptions agency, or you know somebody that works for family law that can help me out, I would greatly appreciate it. But until then, those of you who have everybody in your circle that's involved in your adoption, whether you're the adopting person or the person who was adopted, make sure you get everything, all your ducks in a row while you can, while you're still have everybody living, and that you can communicate and get whatever documents you need. So I hope this helps somebody, and I hope somebody listening to this can help me, because I'm like in a rock and a hard space. So take care. God bless you. Thank you for listening.